Good evening, everybody. My name is Rashawn Broadnex, and welcome to another evening of Shear Chat. I am so excited. I finally have my guest of the evening in the building. I have been trying to get her here forever. But I am so happy to have her here. She is another one of my very fun young ladies. This is Miss Tinea Porter of the Green Room.
Yes. Yes, the green room.
Okay.
Sorry.
Okay.
I'm like, yes.
Okay. So welcome Tinea Porter. She is. We have some people on there. If you know Tinea Porter, let's see the hearts and stuff up on the screen. We'll start the evening off with that, and then. I don't even know why I always talk to you guys. Okay, but anyway. So Tinea Porter, tell us a little bit about yourself and tell us about the Green Room. Tell us about you before. Tell us about Tinea Porter, the person.
Oh, man.
And then we'll move into Tinea Porter, the stylist.
I am a lover of 90s R&B. I feel like a mixture between Whitley, Pam from Martin.
Oh, Lord.
Who else? And Rainbow from Blackish.
Wait a minute.
I love family. I love dogs, people. Not too many things get me upset. I'm a workaholic.
Mm-hmm.
I love to laugh. Yeah, I love to read. That's like I can sit in a room all day, no TV, no anything else, and just read all day. Yep.
Now, what kind of reading you talk about?
Anything. Honestly, anything. My favorite, of course, I love.
Is she talking about?
Of course, I love sappy romance novels, but really anything. I just like to read.
Okay.
Always. I think it's because I hated it so much as a kid. Okay. And now I absolutely love it.
That.
Yep.
Especially if you had to read.
Yes.
Then,
oh my God.
Stuff that you did not want to read.
Yep. And so now anything.
Right.
I love to read.
All right. So tell us, how did you move into a career in cosmetology?
I blame my mother. I always loved. It was like a ball of contradiction growing up. So I didn't really play a lot of the girly sports and games. Mm-hmm. So I was a serious tomboy, but loved fashion, hair, and clothes. Okay. So I don't know how to jump double dutch. Okay. I don't know how to do any of that stuff, but I always loved hair, and I think it's, again, my mother. I was so tender-headed as a kid. Okay. That my mother was over it. So it just got to the point where she would be like, we're leaving in 20 minutes, mm-hmm. and you need to look like something. And so I'd be like, okay, right. Yeah. And then I just like the creativity of it, and just that, like my friend, we could just play. Okay. And I didn't even realize it was so much of a career until college. Okay. So throughout high school, I still did hair, but I wanted to be a teacher. So when I started in college, my major was secondary education, because I still didn't have any clue that, I guess growing up in private school, they didn't really push the arts. Right. So it was just like, okay, this is cute, but you either going to be a lawyer, a doctor. Right. They just didn't talk about it. So when I got to college and realized, like, I can do this, I called my mother. She was like, this is your life. And I changed my major to design, because again, like I made prom dresses in high school, and I was always into it. I just never knew that it could be a career. Okay. And so from that point, it was a wrap. But I've just always loved the creativity. I like making people feel good. I like the freedom of it. And then I started to actually love combing my own hair. Mm-hmm. And that was it. Now,
I think it's so funny that you mentioned that, you didn't realize that it was like really like a career.
I had no clue, because it's like you go to the salon, but I think it's just something that you're so used to doing. Right. You go do it, but nobody actually says, do you know that this is a career field? You can make a living out of this. Exactly. I had no clue, and I think I just didn't look at it that way. Like, my mother's a nurse, so it's like nobody in my family really is into that. So I just didn't. I just knew you went.
Not seen anybody.
Yeah, I had no clue. So when I went to college, a really good friend of mine, we used to put on these productions for fashion shows, and he would let, like, I was in charge of the hair and over the makeup, and I'll never forget my first time taking like a small makeup class at Christiana Mall in Delaware.
Lord have mercy.
And I was like, this is a thing.
Okay.
And all we wanted to do was put electric eel eyeshadow on.
On everybody.
Bold blue eyeshadow. But
Right.
it was just like, I had no clue that it was such a big deal. And then I started researching it more, and then just the opportunities, but I was always just doing it because I loved it. So like even in college, I didn't really work. I did hair.
Right.
That's all I did in my dorm room.
So now, are you a native of the area, or okay?
Definitely went away, came back home,
Okay.
just started to like it.
Okay. Good. Okay. So now, what would you say really pushed you into the career of cosmetology? Was it just the opportunity to do it, or did you just really have that longing to now? Well, let me ask you this first. Out of college, did you work in another field, or did you go right into?
You know what? Straight out of college, my plan was get a degree, then go to cosmetology school. And I always tell people, I remember I probably went up to Bennett 6 times, literally, between the time I actually started school, because before President Obama was in office, you couldn't get financial aid if you had a degree.
Right.
And I didn't know that.
Right.
So when I graduated, I was just like, what do you mean? And my mother's like, I ain't got
Girl,
it.
right. I don't know what you going to do.
So I was a shampoo assistant. Like, I still doing hair, and my mom was making me. I was a shampoo assistant. I worked at Nordstrom as a stylist. Hated it. Hated retail, hated everything about it. And then I was a high school teacher. So since I had a degree in design, that's what I taught. So I did so many of my students' hair and makeup for prom.
Okay.
Then I got laid off. And so when I got laid off, it was around the same time President Obama was going in the office, and that's when he changed it so that since the unemployment rate was so high, it was like all of these people are switching careers now, they can get aid.
Right.
And the week after he approved it, it was July, and that's when I started Bennett. I said, my mother was like, you really want? Yeah. I went to Bennett 6 times
back up there
between the time I graduated college in 2005 and when I started Bennett in 2010.
Well, see, that's good. Okay, so now tell me about the green room. How did you come up with that?
Okay, so outside of green being my favorite color, I always thought about it's more in relation to the green room in terms of media and television.
Okay.
So like that's the place where you go. They tell you get yourself together before you hit the stage, and so that's where the name came from. Like, this is where you come before you hit the stage, before you hit the street. This is where you come get yourself together. And I always just love the name. I like the fact that people always come in like, well, where's the green? And I'm like, it's not literal.
Right. But see, that's funny because I never thought of that. I wasn't sure, and that never crossed my mind. So it's
that's
interesting
where I got the name
that
from.
you get it. Now that you hear it, you know, I absolutely get it.
And nothing in there is green.
Right.
Nothing.
But you've always had like a really creative space. Like, I loved your prior space with the mural on the wall.
Thank you.
You know, and so I have not seen this space, but you know, I'm sure it is fabulous. So now let's see, to what do you really attribute your creativity, do you think? Because now that is really beyond just the hair, because overall, I think you're just like,
I know y'all get tired of hearing me say this.
I know.
My mother.
Okay.
I'm telling you, my mother's she has a very strong personality, and she just always encouraged me to be me. Like, even if she didn't understand it, the craziest stuff, just anything, as long as it wasn't like
detrimental.
Yeah, I mean, she just let me go for it. She was always like, you know, you have one life, and this is your life. So like, whether I like it or not, you have to be happy with your choices.
Right.
So anything I did, she's a person that made me a thinker. So it was like, you can do this. You figured out the consequences. You mapped it out. Knock yourself out. So she just constantly encouraged me. I remember this conversation. I was just telling a client this the other day. This had to be like 6th grade, and I used to get bullied, right?
First of all, I can't imagine that, but go ahead.
But it was because I used to get bullied, and so, but it wasn't like how cruel they are today. Well, picked on, I'll say that. And so, I remember telling my mother, and she didn't really say too much, but she said, you know what? I'm gonna tell you this. when you show me which one of these children can pay your tuition, then we'll talk about it. Now, I had no clue what she was talking about then,
I don't know nothing
but
about
it's
no
like,
tuition.
I still have that mentality now.
Right.
She was just like, why do you care?
Right.
You know what I mean? So even as a kid, it was just kind of like, I'm gonna just be me.
And see, that's an important lesson.
Yep.
You know, I think that's really an important lesson, especially nowadays where you have so many, I'll say, children or young people, they get in trouble following behind someone else, or because they're worried or so concerned about someone else and what they're saying or what they feel about them. You know, so I think with a lesson like that, it would minimize so many of the things that we see. She
always had stuff that made me think, and I would be like, what? She wasn't mean. You know what I mean? Like, I could, if I wanted to, I could have probably, I mean, I couldn't have, but I had so much freedom.
Right.
Because she was just like, these are your consequences. Like, I love my life.
Right.
You know what I mean? So everything made me, she just made me think all the time. But that was just one of those things. But she was always like, Tinea, you have to be you. Like, none of these people can live your life. So what if they don't like it? If you like it, that's all that matters. Even to this day, if she doesn't like it, she knows I'm like,
right.
Okay.
But the ultimate thing is, like you said, she promoted you to think. That is what I think we miss a lot, you know, today.
Yep.
Because so many people have, I think they lack the skill of real critical thinking.
Yep.
You know, they don't know how to think past or think about consequences. You know, it's just like what I want to do. It's just what I want to do, and you know, this is what I want now. And they're not thinking about what the consequences will actually be, or, you know, who am I going to hurt? Who does this situation that I'm creating hurt?
Who does it affect?
Right.
How does it affect you? Like, this is my second favorite example, and I'll leave it be. So, you know, from here, we go to Go-Go's. So in high school, I played sports all year round. And so my friends would go sneak and go to the Black Hole. It was a spot up Georgia Avenue, and everybody used to go to. And so I remember coming home, like, everybody's going, I want to come. My mother would be like, you can go where you want to go, but understand this. I come in your room at 5 o'clock in the morning. You have basketball practice after school, and your grades better not slip. So and again, I'm not trying to wake you up more than once. Again, I come in your room at 5 in the morning, and you have practice. So if that's what you want to do,
have it.
And I would be like, I'm good.
Right.
Because I already knew I'm not fooling with this lady. Like,
I'm not going to
miss school, practice messing up. Yeah, but she always put it on me.
See, but that's good, because it forced you to think about the full scope of the situation
all the time.
You know, and I think that is, to me, that's just excellent. We have, you know, other conversations, and so I think that's just you know, an amazing thing. I wish more people would take that, more parents would take that up as a mantle.
Definitely.
And really push critical thinking to their children. Like, I took a class in it, and it was blowing my mind, but I'm like, this is what's missing. I got all the puzzle, but this one little piece. That's it. That's what's missing.
Definitely.
Okay, so now working in a salon suite, how do you keep a steady flow of clientele coming through?
This one sounds so cliche. I just make sure I put my best work out every time.
Okay.
And my clients, like, I'm not and I used to tell Mr. Bennett this all the time. I'm not the person that's going to walk up to you. Like, I don't even introduce myself as a hairstylist. I'm not that person. So it's like, because I know that I'm not like that, I have to have, like, I have to have great customer service, and I have to put out good work, because I have to make people want to come back. And my clients do it. Like, it's word of mouth. Social media has helped a great deal. But I don't even do that. Like, I was just speaking with someone. Like, sometimes I'm like, should I be doing more? Like, should I need to take more pictures, more photo shoots? Because I'm just not. I think it's amazing, but I'm focused on doing the work rather than, like, painting a pretty picture of doing the work. So I think it's just putting your best foot forward, like being a good person and just being consistent. Like if I have a goal, I don't have a problem like going through the process to reach a goal. You know what I mean? So like I don't mind every day just work at it. Every day just work at it. So it's like you put out enough good work, you treat people well, and you don't burn bridges, they're going to come.
Okay. Now, would you consider yourself more of a behind the scenes person, or okay, let me put it this way. Let me give you two options.
Okay.
Would you rather be, say, a backstage hairstylist or a platform artist?
I would rather be a backstage hairstylist but a platform teacher.
Okay.
Like, I don't have a problem getting up and talk. Something that I love, I've just realized this recently. I can talk on the stage about something that I love and something that I know.
Okay, yes.
But doing hair, I don't like. Why are you looking at me like I'm working? So that makes me so uncomfortable for somebody. Like, even when there's clients in the suite watching, I'm like,
stop watching me. Turn around. Like, everybody look at the wall.
Yeah, so like I don't necessarily. Like, I never know how it might happen, but that wouldn't be my choice. Okay. To do it on stage. And I think it's more of an insecurity because a lot of things that I do, I'm technical, but I'm not. Okay. So it's like, I think a lot of times when people are watching you, they're looking for, so what'd you do there? Right. So why'd you do that? And I'm like, I don't know. I didn't even know I was about to do this. I just started working. This is what I decided to do, and I'm just flowing. You know what I mean? That's when I'm a true artist. So I think I don't like it because I'm like, people are expecting a step by step, and sometimes I'm like, I don't even know what I'm about to do.
Right. Yeah. I got you. Yeah. Okay. So, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be back in a moment with my guest, Tinea Porter of The Green Room, right here in, we'll say Washington, D.C., but she's Silver Spring.
DC.
Yeah. All right, so we'll be back. Okay, everyone, we are back with another evening of Shear Chat with my guest, Miss Tinea Porter of The Green Room, right here in Washington, D.C. So if you like what you've seen, let us see the hearts and whatnot across the screen. We like all that. You know, I ask for it every week. I love it, love it, love it. So when we left off, we were talking about how does Porter keep the steady flow of clients in her salon suite. So in previous weeks, the reason why I asked that question, because I think it's important for a lot of people to understand that have now left the traditional salon setting and now moved into the suites, but a lot of people are having a hard time with, you know, maintaining a clientele, and they attribute a lot of it to, you know, just not having the visibility, not having
I'll tell you what it is.
What's the word? The competition is so stiff because it's like 20 people who are doing pretty much the same thing, which I agree, but then I disagree because we all do hair, right? But we all don't do the same thing.
But this is the thing. The problem is being in a suite is entrepreneurship. Yes. So the biggest mistake that people make in entrepreneurship is people lack discipline. You have to have discipline. So a lot of times when people have freedom, they don't know what to do with it. Right. So it's like, just because you work for yourself, you still have to get to work at a certain time. You still have to keep up your workspace. Like, you still have to, you work for yourself, but you're still working. And a lot of people don't take it seriously. They just don't want to, I don't want to be around the attitudes. I don't want to, it's not even, for me, it's not even about that. It's just, I first ventured into suites because, one, financially I thought it was more beneficial, but I also felt weird because I do a lot of freelance. So for me to be on somebody else's, I need my own schedule, my own time at all times. But other than that, like, I still walk around the other suites and talk to people. Like, I still visit salons. Like, I still make sure I mingle with people. But I think a lot of times people don't make it in the suite because it takes a lot of discipline.
I would definitely agree.
Lot of it.
And you know what? And the reason I'm glad you said discipline, because one of the things that I heard for years when you would ask people, why did you get into the beauty industry, or what made you decide to do it? I want to be my own boss. I don't want to have to listen to anybody. So they start, they're creative, they do hair well, they
and
start this career.
Are the worst when it comes to discipline.
Yes. But they don't have, like you said, they lack the discipline and the knowledge that you have to be disciplined. You have to still create a schedule for yourself.
And the money financially, oh my God, that's the most challenging, but that's what makes it most rewarding. Mm-hmm. I was saying how, when you have a suite, it's something so small as if somebody needs a pen. Mm-hmm. Did you buy pens? Right. You know what I mean? Like, right. Did you buy an ink pen? Mm-hmm. Did you buy tissue for your clients to blow their nose? Mm-hmm. And did you buy it when it ran out? It's like you have to constantly, it's a lot.
You know what? I liken it to, I talked about a couple of weeks ago, but some of the research I did said the problem is because we find it difficult to switch our mind frame from the salon. Even though we're in our own space now in the suite, we still have the salon mindset. So it's like, oh, okay, well, where's the towels?
Did you buy them?
Right.
Did you wash them?
Okay, well, do you have color?
Oh my God.
So
yes.
you have to remember that now everything is on you. Mm-hmm. Like you said, down to the ink pen.
Everything.
To the piece of paper.
But once you get it,
then
it's the best feeling. And it's still, but one thing, it's exhausting. Depending on how you, like my discipline that I've been working on, I don't know when to stop.
Okay.
I don't know when to stop, but I love to do hair. I love my clients. Mm-hmm. I'm always laughing. We're always in there singing and performing. Right. I don't know when to stop. So where I have to work on discipline is a balance between my personal life and work.
And work life, right.
Because it's so easy to just work all day.
Okay, so let's talk about that. So how do you create a work personal balance? Like what's your personal plan to do that, I should say?
Well, now I have a business manager she's like heaven sent. She forced me to take another day off. Okay. So that changed my life. Okay. So I now work Wednesday to Saturday. Okay. Because what started happening was I was only off Sundays and Mondays, which really only turned into Mondays. Right. But that was difficult because that means I had one day to do doctor's appointments, nail appointment, laundry, then I was right back at work. Right. So it's like I didn't have a day to just sit and scratch my ass. You know what I mean? Like just sit and relax. So taking the extra day and also trusting my skill set, trusting that I know what I have to offer. So it's like not feeling like just because they want the appointment doesn't mean you have to give it to them. So it's like me learning, oh, there's a birthday dinner on Friday and this client wants, no, I can't squeeze you in. This is what time I can't. No. So now I'm the queen of no. Right. But at first I would be like, I'll squeeze you in. Right. Okay, I can do it really quickly. But it's just being disciplined was just saying no. Right. You can't.
I agree. Yeah. I find myself in that boat a lot of the times. Mm-hmm. You want to, and I think again, because I'm like you, I'll say this for myself. I like to do hair, but if it were not for my clients, I wouldn't do it. And so when I say that, people are like, well, I don't even understand that. It don't make sense. I love my clients, and I said that if for whatever reason, the ones that I have left, I probably would not try to start again, because really my connection is with them. Most of the people I've had since I started, and I've like accumulated throughout the years. So I just feel like if I didn't have them, I really would not. I don't need to do this.
I'm the exact opposite. So let me be clear. I love my clients, but I actually love the hair. I like the science. The people, that's the hard part for me, because your clients take so much out of you. And I can put me in a room with just the hair and let me play in hair all day.
Say it's just hair.
Just the hair. No hair. Yeah, like a mannequin hair or something. Right. Like that's what I love. But like the people, that's what has been pulling me so much out of my comfort zone, because I don't want to talk. I don't always want to talk.
Well, okay, God. I got that. But first of all, I got that one.
So it's like, I love people, but I love to watch people. And you know, being a hairstylist is so intimate, and your clients need you. They depend on you. They need you, and that's hard for me. But it's taught me, I've learned how to be vulnerable since being a hairstylist. You know, like I'm usually very much in my bubble. I'm over here in the corner. I'm watching everybody else. I don't want to see you cry. Like, I don't want to, but that's what it's forced me to do. So I'm the opposite. I love the hair. The people, I'm like, Lord have mercy.
I love the and you know what, and it's, I guess, okay, so the opposite, like, I love that intimate interaction. I really consider myself with the majority of my clients more than just the hairstylist.
Oh,
so
we have no choice,
right?
And that's what's hard for me, because they just need so much, and I know that comes from also being an only child. Like, I'm really just, put me in my bubble. I can go forever and not talk, not talk to people. Just me and my dog, relaxing.
That's it.
Yeah, so it's like, but I enjoy it because it's stretching me as a person. And I'm usually just not, I have my friends, my comfort zone. I have had the same friends since my entire life. You know, of course, I've added more, but just the same people. So they know how I am. They don't care. You know what I mean? Like, they don't, if they need something, they know what they can need me for. But like, that's the hard part. See, that's very hard for me.
Well, it's growth. You know, it's definitely growth.
It is.
So let's see. If you had to identify one particular service that you become known for, what would you say it is? I know what it is. Go ahead.
I think it would be a tie between color and presses.
Okay.
But let me be clearer. On thick hair, like, my clients have massive hair,
and I've heard you say.
So like, anybody that has ever worked with me, they be like, oh my God,
all these people are
they have
that would be me.
Massive hair. And I think it's because I had such thick hair.
Right.
And this is such a Thursday student moment. But in the clinic, I used to be the one that wasn't afraid to do all the thick hair.
And you see how...
And I was fascinated by it. Actually, one of my clients from the clinic still comes to me.
See, that's good.
She has like 5 people's hair within it. But I think that's what it is, because I get so many clients with ridiculously thick hair, and the hair that everybody else is scared to do.
Right.
So I think it's definitely hair color. But I think that I'm known the most for healthy hair. Like, my clients have very healthy hair, whether it's color, relaxed, natural, short, long, just very healthy, because I'm such a stickler for it.
Right? Which is really good. So you would say healthy hair top, then color, then the press. Because I know you for color.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
I love your color. I've seen you do color. I love to see the outcome, especially on your Facebook. And so those are things that I really look forward to seeing, your color processes. And you're not afraid to do, like, I don't want to say funky color, but
the unusual stuff.
Right. You know, not everybody same day, same Jane blonde, you know.
I could not.
But
it would drive me crazy.
Real. And I think that's the good thing, because to do color, you have to be good. In my opinion, you have to be good.
Let me tell you how hard it was for me to get color.
Okay.
That's why I said the things I have learned, the things that have challenged me are the things I'm the best at in life. Where, like I said, with clients, I don't like talking, but I'm an amazing communicator now as a result. But like color, having to learn it, I hated it because I didn't understand.
So now, where did you get your color knowledge or color techniques from?
PR and Partners.
Okay.
It was like boot camp.
Okay.
And I just like how, and I know, I always feel bad for the people that work for me, because I know that I am so, I guess, rigid.
But there's something about someone for everyone.
But that's how I was taught, and it helps. You know what I mean? It helps with structure. It helps with retaining information. But they were so you couldn't touch people unless you were under the time they had set. You know what I mean? So everything was always speed and accuracy.
Right.
And just, I used to walk around with index cards because you had to know this stuff. You know, like, there's too much money at stake. A full head of highlights was almost $500. You put the wrong toner, that's $500. Like, I wasn't trying to lose my job. So it was like, they were so, oh my God. And I hated it.
But see, that's good. And often the things that we really dislike, you know, turn out to make us the best, you know? So as far as social media, what platform do you think is the most beneficial right now to a hairstylist? So we see people, of course, we use Facebook. Of course, we use Instagram. I've seen some people using the Snapchat. So what would you feel is the best platform for?
Hands down, Instagram.
Okay.
It's to, it reaches everybody, like in a matter of seconds. The pictures, the videos, the hashtags, just, I think Instagram, especially because it's more beneficial for me.
Okay.
But I think it's also instant.
Okay.
You know, like Facebook, you might have to scroll past the comment and go find the picture, whereas Instagram is literally instant grams, like instant pics, instant photos. So everything is right there. The link is right there if you want an appointment. You know, you can click right there if you want to call, click right here if you want to email, and it's easy to research. Like I always say, I feel like for any business, Instagram is like the new Yellow Pages. You want to find something out, you put a hashtag in, you can find it from all over the world. So now, as far as, tell us how the hashtags work. So hashtags are like a subject matter. So whatever the subject matter is you're searching for, or you want to be searched for, that's what you hashtag. Okay. So if you want to be known for frying catfish, your hashtag would be fried catfish. Seriously, it's like whatever a hashtag is, just a subject matter. So how do I put that in? Hashtag, the number sign, or the pound, and whatever the word is. But you can literally find anything, whatever you are looking for. It's almost like Google. As long as that hashtag is in front of it and you put your subject matter, somebody somewhere is offering it. It's doing something, or someone has a like mind. Like you find either the service you want or like-minded individuals. Okay, so for everybody, that I brought that out because I noticed a lot of people, when you look at hashtags, sometimes I'm like, the thing is with hashtags, one thing that I've kind of learned, I started doing like DMV hairstylist, you know, but then I thought about it and I said, you're putting yourself in a large group. So what do you need to do to reduce that? So then that's when you add your other hashtags to it. You know, and I look at some people, their picture gallery, and they have like 20 to 30 hashtags. And I'm like, what in the world? Do you type all this stuff? But what came to me is that they're narrowing down the field because yes, I am, you know, DMV barber, DMV stylist, or what have you. But I'm also, you know, faded. I'm also, you know, fade with color. I'm also, you know, color touch. All these different things that will help bring that out. People, they have time. People are going to sit and look through everyone that says DMV stylist. I'm still surprised every time I get a client. It's like, I found you on Instagram, because I'm like, back in the day, maybe I had to see you walking down the street. A picture? No, wasn't a little picture, unless it was in a hair magazine. You know what I mean? But they work. Hashtags work. And I was going to tell you, people don't type them. What you do is type up all of your hashtags, put them in your notes section, and copy and paste to every picture. Nobody is sitting there typing everything. Nobody is doing that. Tip number 2. Okay, see, because that was one of my questions. Put them in the note section, copy and paste it, so everywhere you do, you just copy it, paste it, put it in there. Okay. See, that's a cute little one. I like that. Okay, so then what piece of advice would you offer a beauty school student or a barber school student that's coming out and just starting their career? Can it be pieces of advice? Okay, come on. Be humble. Okay. Be humble and be coachable. those are the two favorites. I feel like people coming out of school now, I will say, I think they have an unfair advantage because they're exposed to too much too soon. And so because they're exposed to it, they think they know it.
Right, they got it.
And there's so many things outside, like styling hair is at the bottom of the totem pole compared to being a great stylist or business person.
Right.
So it's like, I think they miss all of the other stuff because Instagram, social media can be a gift, but the curse of it is it's perception. You know what I mean? So you think you see this, but it's really so much more behind it, but that's not what you see.
Right.
So it's like, be humble, assist. Nobody cares how good. I don't care how well you can lay your weave. I don't care about any of that because if you can't follow, you can't lead. So if you can't work under somebody, and working under people is not just always about learning the technical. It may be learning how to juggle people so that when you're really busy, you know how to juggle your clients. Learning how to talk to people or just learning how to carry the bags properly. You might go from carrying my bags to carrying Beyonce's bags to doing her hair. It's like they don't think of everything is now. They don't think of long term. And just being coachable goes with that. My mother, again, Lord, shout out, hey mom, she used to always say, if nobody can tell you anything, nobody can tell you anything.
Right.
So they miss so much because they're so combative. Well, they already know it all. And it's like if you go into every situation assuming you know nothing, you gain everything.
So much, right?
Yeah. So
I really agree with that. But you know what? We're going to take a quick break, and I'm going to come back, and I'm going to piggyback on that, and then we're going to go into my favorite segment of the evening, which is the tea. So we'll be right back after this commercial break. All right, everyone, we are back. So we're going to follow up with our last question. The question was, what advice would you give to a beauty school student or barber school student that is coming out of school right now? And Ms. Porter said, be humble.
And be coachable.
And be coachable. And I think it's so interesting that you said that because this year at the Continuing Education Conference, you were working backstage. But we honored a young lady who's actually an older lady, Miss Emma Ty, and Mr. Bennett asked her that question. Now, the interesting thing was she came into the office to register for her continuing education class. She wouldn't say how old she was. Of course, I think she did tell him, but just gathering from the time, she's had her license 60 plus years.
Oh, wow.
Okay, so that's telling you that she's at least in the late 70s.
At least 100. No?
She's in her late 70s, maybe. So I was like, okay, so he said to her, what advice would you give? And she said to be humble. And I've heard that so many times now, and I think really it's because, like you said, the exposure is so great.
Let me tell you, so many opportunities I've gotten because I don't say anything. Like I remember, not that I won't speak, but I know how to, I don't have to let you know that I can do it too.
Right.
You want me to hold this bobby pin right here?
No problem.
I'm gonna hold it. Really. And like that's how and a lot of the connections I have or have gotten, I may have known through other people, but I never went through them to get it.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, one of my closest friends from high school is married to Mazay. I got to work with Mazay because of Bennett.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? I could have easily said, Brandon.
Right. Get me on.
But I never want stuff like that. And I don't know if it's a pride thing, but I want you to notice that I have something to offer. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want to feel like, hey, my little cousin's god sister needs. I don't want that.
Right.
I want you to think that I'm worthy of it.
So you don't want to be the Ivanka Trump in the White House.
No. She don't want to be there.
Yes, but I get what you're saying. I totally get that. And I had a feeling about that plagued me for some years, and it played with my confidence in doing hair for a minute.
Really?
And yes, it was the first the first time I competed in Golden Scissors, I won. But someone made a comment that plagued me, that it planted the seed that I did not win of my own merit. And so I always thought in the back of my head, you know, for the things that people give me accolades for, is it really real? And so it made me think, do you really know how to do here? Or are people just saying it because of who you work with?
Right.
You know, are people really appreciating what you're doing, or are they just saying it because of the connection that you have? And so it really bothered me, and it took me a minute to break out of that, you know, and just to kind of understand and realize your own greatness. You know? So I definitely understand that. But now we're going to move on to our last segment of the evening, which is the tea. I love me some tea. I said I got to get some tea up here and pour me a little tea. But, so let's start with this. So this week's tea is going to cover a couple of different topics. And the first thing I just kind of want to know from you, so we're coming off of the weekend of all of these interviews with the mistresses of Donald Trump and all that kind of stuff.
The messiest weekend.
It's been 2018. Crazy. And I said, poor Melania, thank goodness. I said, bless her heart, she is just, I'm going to stay out of it. But I think she should. I think one of them going to blow the whistle. So now tell me, what do you think about this situation? Do you think that we really need to know, like, beyond the possibility that they have used campaign funds to pay for the silence of this young lady, do you think that we really need to know?
The petty part of me, yes.
Okay.
Because Bill Clinton. And let me tell you something. If Barack Obama had even blinked at another female, so that part of me is like, yes.
But the difference is Bill Clinton did it while he was in the seat.
This is true. Either way, they made such a big deal out of it regardless. So I'm like, from that perspective, tell it all.
Okay.
But other than that, I don't care. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think we have bigger issues. And you know what I mean?
That's how I feel.
I feel like that's America now.
I shudder to say, I enjoy it, you know, because I'm a consumer of all things that, you know, just are going on. So I can sit and watch, you know, CNN, MSNBC all day long because it's like, feed it to me. So I've been enjoying to see how it's going to play out. But then as I sat back and thought, I was like, is it really necessary for us to know whether or not they actually had you know, an affair? Because, you know, my thing is, when you look at what is taking place, apparently something has happened, because if your lawyer paid her to be quiet, there's something going on.
See, and I think if this is one of those things that falls under the category. My thought process for everything is, let's get to so now what? So what is this going to affect anything? Because if it's not, I don't care. I don't watch the news like that anymore, because I feel like they don't talk. I'm not for all the messy stuff. I feel like, what are y'all hiding? That's how I feel. What's really going on? Because y'all, it's so many games played now in the media with television that it's like, I side eye everything. But I just feel like they would have dragged Uncle Barack. So drag Donald. That's why I said the petty part of me, drag him, spill it.
Okay, so now let me ask you this. Do you think Melania knew about these relationships?
Melania does not like him. Because she doesn't, yes, she knew.
You think she knew?
She knew when she made him. She knows. That's why I said she's going to be the one. Girlfriend is sitting back, right, collecting notes. Like, she know. I feel like she's going to be the one to blow the whistle on everything.
Do you think so?
I do.
Well, I think, you know, I heard something.
They underestimate her.
There was something I forget, I think it was CNN I was listening to this weekend, and they played a clip of her from the beginning. And when they were asking her questions about him, she said, now, the one thing about us is I allow him to be him. He allows me to be me.
Translation.
Right.
Translation, cut the check.
Oh, right. That's it.
She already knows, keep me laced, and I'm going to be quiet.
And
like, I don't
good.
care.
And I'm good.
So I feel like she knows, and I hate, forgive me. She knew when she married him. You know what I mean? So
and that was the thing. Now, because I don't know if you've heard in either one of the interviews, they both said, the way that he portrays himself in public, with the grab and all that kind of stuff, he wasn't that way with them. So the young lady, not Stormy Daniels, I'm trying to think of the other
one.
Yes, she said, it was like almost like a relationship.
Oh, stop it, girl.
It was.
Take it, you gonna take the coin and shut up.
It was a relationship. When they went out, he always had his arm on her back or by her waist. He treated her so well. She loved her some Donald.
Mm-hmm. So why is she talking now then?
Well, see, that's the interesting question. That's the interesting question. To be continued.
That money dried up.
To be continued. Okay, so let's see. Why do you think in the wake of all of that was going on in the city? So this weekend, for those who don't know, was the Never Again rally, march, and all that going on in response to the students of Parkland High School in Florida. Well, it's not Parkland High School. I forget the name of the high school, but it's in Parkland, Florida. So they started that whole thing. They came up with this rally, the march, and why do you think that he decided to leave town with something so? I don't even know.
It doesn't directly affect him.
It doesn't affect him.
Like he doesn't. Well, first, he's not a politician. So outside of the word games and just like the qualification as far as education, he doesn't think community-wise. Even the worst politician has a community mindset.
Right.
He doesn't care. So that's why I'm like, they keep pointing out things about him that he's been the same person since day one. You all thought that because he got sworn into office that was going to change.
Well, they thought that he was going to become presidential.
I don't know why. That's why I said one thing, and this is probably, if I'm famous one day, this is going to get so twisted. But that's the thing that tickles me the most about him is he said he wanted to do it and he did it. That's the only thing I can say. I can respect that mindset. But outside of that, him winning the presidency was the last thing I needed to push my confidence over. I can do anything. This man is the president. He has a terrible weave. You understand what I'm saying?
Wait a minute.
And he's the president of the United States, because he wanted to be.
Right.
Period. However he got it, whatever the case. So I'm like, people keep expecting him to morph into this. He's not that. Of course he left. He's spent more than I think President Obama spent his whole campaign on vacations already.
Yes, so far.
I'm like, why y'all acting like you don't know this man? He's gonna keep going.
Right.
I mean, what they...
Wait, sidebar, and I got to bring this. We're running out of time, but I got to bring this in. Did you see when he was going up the stairs?
And it was waving. Baby.
I thought I would die when I said that.
I said, where's his adhesive?
Okay, what is going on?
That thing got the flapping. He didn't even blink.
I said, oh my gosh. They did him dirty. And the camera was pointed right and they said, now watch. Exactly. I thought that was hilarious. Okay, so we have about 10 minutes left. Okay. So we're only 12 weeks into 2018, basically. And there have already been 17 school shootings where someone was either hurt or killed. The average for time versus the amount of people is about 1.4 per week. Okay, so now they're saying that a shooting that involved at least one person being shot, this is what they're categorizing the shootings as. Okay. A shooting that occurred either on school grounds. They included grades either K through the university level. Okay. They're including gang violence, fights, and domestic violence. Okay. We also included accidental discharge of firearms as long as the first two parameters were met, which was, at least one person being shot or on school grounds. Okay, so in your opinion, what do you think should be done to stop these shootings? Or, well, basically, what do you think that we could do to kind of stop this from happening? Because I would hate to think that this is going to continue to happen for the rest of the year.
I have very, controversial thoughts typically. Okay. I think that the media has to stop giving it so much attention. Like people with narcissistic, very
narcissistic
people with those issues,
right?
That they thrive on that.
Amplifies
the notoriety, they thrive on that. Also, I think it needs to be the precaution, all of that needs to be revamped. The age, just the process for which you have to go through. And I also think that there needs to be a ban. I need to go back to having I don't know if it's an age limit or some type of control over what we're allowed to consume. I feel like a lot of this, I'm a firm believer that art imitates life. So a lot of what we're seeing now, that's all we see. That's all people are exposed to. You know what I'm saying? So we're so numb to it that it's not even a big deal. I also think that people aren't taught, especially at the school age, people aren't taught proper coping mechanisms.
Okay.
So the first thing they go to is
violence.
It's just rage. It's 0 to 100. They don't know how to think through their emotions, assess the situation. So everything is, oh, she told me no, I'm gonna shoot the school up. You know what I'm saying? But that's how people think now, because they don't teach children in any school
and that's
how to deal with their emotions.
The critical thinking, thinking yourself through the process.
Yep.
But then I'm glad that you mentioned the age range, because that was something that I thought was really interesting. And it's been coming out in the media recently, but they said, so for those at home, the facts are you must be 21 to do the following things: to get a concealed weapon permit, to be charged as an adult for a crime, for most crimes we'll say, because sometimes you are, whatever, and then to gamble at a casino. But at age 18, you are able to purchase a AR-15 assault rifle, and we know this to be the particular rifle that has been involved in many of these incidents. And then what I thought was interesting was there was a lady from the NRA, and she said, I've had guns all my life. She's had guns all her life. So she said though that so when they asked her, well, why? She said, because I was single, living, she said, just out of college, single woman living by myself, And they said, okay, so what kind of weapon did you purchase? She said the AR-15. So the question is, why would you need a
military-grade assault rifle?
And she said, because again, I was single, I'm a female, and I needed it to protect myself. So my I guess, clutch the pearls moment to that was, is that what you really think you need to protect yourself?
I think it's available. That's why. It's like if I walk into the store and I'm looking for, and I have a price range, and you tell me I have my mind set on this bag for this price, and then you show me a bigger bag for the same price, it's like, oh, I can get that and stay in my budget, I'm gonna get that.
Okay, and because I'm the same way. That's how I shop. I like the biggest, the best. I like the most sparkliest thing.
But I'm still cheap.
So if it's
in my price range, I'm like, oh yes.
So my thing with that whole scenario is, I don't understand why people are really fighting. It's like they're not understanding that you don't need a military weapon. It's a military weapon.
What it boils
Why do you need that in your house? Why would you want that in your house?
What it boils down to is not, she got it because it's available, but what happens is they make so much money off of the purchase of bullets, and and AR-15s require a lot of bullets. So like everything in America leads back to how much money they're making off of it. So they're not going to ban it, just like how they decided to legalize other recreational activities. You know what I mean?
Right.
They start to see the coin in it, and they think it's not going to affect them.
Then fine.
Yeah, they don't care.
Okay.
My opinion. Don't quote me.
Don't kill me for it. Okay, so now let me ask you this, because this was, as a person who was looking at going into education, how do you think you would feel if you were a teacher in the classroom and it was the law or what have you was passed now that you as an educator would be responsible for protecting the lives of your students by having a firearm in the classroom?
I couldn't do it because I'm scared. I'm scared of guns. You know what I mean? Like, and the funny part is, I already feel like that's a teacher. Like, I haven't been a teacher since 2009. That's how it was then. I can only imagine how educators feel now. But you already feel like you have to protect your students. That's like they become your babies. You know what I mean? But like, if it's mandatory for a gun, I hate to say it, but that's just going to be another excuse for little brown babies.
Exactly. And that's why I was so happy that someone actually brought that out.
Yeah.
I was listening to a panel one night and they said the same thing. They said one thing that we have to remember is, and she was like, I hate to throw race into it, but it's a factor. And she said unfortunately, when you look at the demographics of schools these days, you have a lot of young Caucasian
and they're
boys
already
and girls,
intimidated by us.
Right,
you know what I mean?
And so when you have ones that are like 22 and 23, just, being able to go into a classroom, and then you have the 17, 18-year-old
that's already eating them alive.
The system.
Yeah, they already eating them alive. Yep. That would be the excuse.
Exactly. Well, I thought that my life was in jeopardy
but
or in danger.
That's how you know it's a money thing, because rather than ban them, they want to find more opportunities for people to get them.
To integrate it, right. That's why I thought that was, But, so let's see. Final question.
Okay.
After the march, do you think that the activism and the passion that the students displayed, did you see the march, any of it this weekend? Okay, so do you think the activism and the passion that the students displayed this weekend will translate into political action?
No.
No? Why not?
You know what? I take that back. I think they'll try to, and the only reason I say if anything happens is because, and I hate to even be this person, is because of the race of the children affected. I feel like that's when things become urgent. So if it does, I feel like that will be the reason why. But I also feel like I'm always conflicted when they have marches, because I feel like that's not the way to do stuff anymore.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like we're gathering, but so now what? Like, look at how many marches have happened since. It's not the same. Like, they marched before because they didn't have any other means. It's like now you really have means to actually do something, but we're still stuck on, okay, we went to a march. Okay,
but what happens after that?
What are we doing next? They had the women's march how long ago? And it's like, y'all made posters and got, t-shirts from American Apparel. And it's like, now what?
Right.
So I just I just want to see more. Yeah, just more action behind it. Yeah, like, what's the follow-up? So I can't say I'm against it, because I respect the people that actually go out there and do it, but it's like, what happens next? The politicians, they see it from their offices.
Right.
They talk about CNN for about 2 minutes, and then next week they talking about the president's affairs. It's like, they don't.
So, and you know what, and that's why I asked that question, because I think a lot of the commentators actually, that was their question that they were posing. What's going to happen next, And so one thing that they said as we close out for the evening, that they were looking and saying that they believe that there will be some sort of change. It's not going to be immediate.
Right.
But it's really up to those students to continue to push forward, because these students are in a precarious position. Many of them are at just at the age where they will be able to vote. So a lot of them are going to be able to vote with the primary. And then many more are going to be able to vote in the next election.
Yep.
Right. So this is like that time where if they really put their minds to it and keep that momentum going,
like organized,
that they will be able to make the changes that we want to see. And also, I think the students really understand it because a lot of them actually stated it. They said, we're not looking for just
like immediate change.
We want to affect the system in the long term, and we are looking at voting to do that, and they are willing to vote people out. So I thought that was really interesting. Right, I thought it was very interesting, and I would say proud of young people, because as I listened to them speak, first of all, if I were to close my eyes, it would have been like listening to middle-aged people.
You would have never thought these were children.
And I was like, what in the world? But that shows you the level of intelligence that our young people do have. They are utilizing social media and technology to really enact a lot of the things that they want to see, which I think is great, because as I was watching some stuff, it was television shows about marches in, through history. They said that the ironic thing is they always use high school age kids because they were those they were those ones who really would push forward, and like you said, they are not yet tainted. So I thought that was very interesting, and I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen with the students of Parkland. I was very happy that students from my high school were down here from New Jersey. When I saw that on Instagram and social media, I was very happy. But that was something that they taught us a lot, to really be a part of change.
I'm definitely proud to see the kids.
Yes.
I like that part. But I'm just like, I just really hope something that, I don't want to be the cynic, but it's like, how many more marches we want to have?
Well, I think if the good thing about the march is it brings people together for a common cause. Like the same thing, and it's important to use that as the jumping off point. So that's what you can't let the momentum end with. Okay, well, we marched, we had a great time, and now we go home.
Right.
We have to utilize that beyond, and that's the same thing. I'm going to give you a little extra in terms of the Black Panther movie. A lot of people talked about the movie. I have not seen it yet. I know. But I said one thing that I really enjoyed was how it brought people together. It brought back cultural awareness for a lot of people. Where some people I heard say, oh my God, everybody's pulling out their old dashikis and stuff. Yes, they are. But it's a moment to be proud. It's a moment to be a part and to bring together, the community and the culture. I just really enjoyed watching all of that.
I saw it twice.
Okay, so you saw,
I don't even go to the movies.
You saw it once for me.
That's all. It was worth it though.
All right, so tell us how, if those who would like to visit you at the Green Room or like set up an appointment, how can they reach out to you?
My Instagram is the Green Room _TGR Beauty, and everything is there. I have a website, tgrbeauty.com. You can also go there to book appointments, but the same information is both places.
Okay, sounds fabulous. So thank you so much for joining us this evening here on Shear Chat with another one of my fun gals, Miss Tinea Porter of the Green Room right here in Washington, D.C. Let's see. I can give you all my stuff. I'm Rashawn, the Red Chair by Rashawn here in Washington, D.C. The website is www.theredchr.com. My Instagram is the_red_chr_CEO. The Shear Chat stuff, that's all going to be posted. So you have all that stuff if you want to reach us for appointments. I'm so happy to finally have you here.
Yeah, this was fun.
And I look forward to having you back when we do.
I'll be back.
The reunion. The reunion.
The reunion tour.
Exactly. So thanks again for coming. Thank you all for joining. And we look forward to seeing you next week right here on Shear Chat.
Yeah.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hey.